Lesson 9. Understanding your user interface, UI, as a tree. Your React app is taking shape with many components being nested within each other. How does React keep track of your app's component structure? React, and many other UI libraries, model UI as a tree. Thinking of your app as a tree is useful for understanding the relationship between components. This understanding will help you debug future concepts like performance and state management. 1. Introduction. Let's begin with a simple idea. Every user interface you build in React can be represented as a tree. This concept is fundamental to understanding how React thinks about your application. Imagine your UI as a set of boxes inside boxes, each box representing a piece of the interface. This mental model is what allows React to efficiently update, render, and organize your components. 2. Components as building blocks. Each component in React is a small, self-contained piece of your user interface. Components can represent something as small as a button or as large as an entire page. When you combine these components together, they naturally form a tree structure, where each component can contain other components inside it. Think of the top-level component as the root of the tree. From that root, branches extend outward to smaller and smaller parts of your interface, just like the branches of a tree divide into smaller twigs and leaves. 3. The root and the children. At the very top of this tree sits the root component, the main entry point of your application. This root component renders other components beneath it, and those, in turn, render even more. Each component is like a parent that has one or more children. React keeps track of this entire structure in memory, which allows it to know exactly how the pieces of your application fit together. When you visualize your app as a tree, the hierarchy becomes clear: the root component at the top, followed by its children, and then their children, and so on. This helps you see not just the layout, but also how information flows through your app. 4. The role of props and state in the tree. Now, in this tree, data flows from the top to the bottom, from parent components to their children, through something called props. Props are like messages or packages that carry information down the branches of the tree. A parent component can decide what data each child needs to display, and pass it down accordingly. State, on the other hand, belongs to each individual component. A component's state determines its current condition, what it should look like or how it should behave right now. When a component's state changes, React automatically updates that part of the tree. Only the affected branches are re-rendered, not the entire tree. This is one of the reasons React is so efficient. 5. The virtual tree and React's efficiency. Internally, React maintains something called a virtual representation of this tree. You can think of it as a detailed map that React uses to compare the current tree with the previous one. When something changes, for example, when data updates or a user interacts with the app, React looks at the new version of the tree, finds the differences, and updates only the parts that need to change in the real user interface. This selective updating process is what makes React applications feel fast and responsive, even when they are complex. Instead of rebuilding the entire page from scratch, React surgically updates just the necessary pieces. 6. Benefits of thinking in trees. Understanding your UI as a tree offers several benefits. It helps you break down complex interfaces into smaller, reusable parts. It also makes it easier to trace how data flows and where updates happen. When you encounter a bug or unexpected behavior, you can follow the tree structure to pinpoint exactly which component is responsible. This way of thinking also promotes a clean mental model for your team. Everyone can discuss the structure of the application in terms of parents, children, and data flow, without getting lost in low-level details. 7. Conclusion. To wrap up, thinking of your UI as a tree is more than just a metaphor. it's the foundation of how React works. Each branch and leaf represents a component that plays a specific role. By understanding this structure, you gain a clearer sense of how React builds, updates, and manages your application. The next time you design a React interface, picture it as a living tree, one that grows, adapts, and updates gracefully with each change. That's the power of React's component model and its tree-based architecture.